Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to discuss the astrological energies from December 14th until December 21st, as we have a big week underway of energy shifts. We're going to see the Sun in Sagittarius square Neptune in Pisces at 22 degrees. Then the Sun moves forward and will be conjunct the Galactic Center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. Then we'll have Jupiter re-enter Aries, followed by the Solstice, where the Sun enters Capricorn and we move into the fourth quarter of the zodiac. So we'll be discussing all of these energies and more in today's show. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back if you're a regular listener, and welcome if you are new to this show. We look at astrology through the lens of Western tropical astrology, as well as with the intention of understanding more of our spiritual growth, our consciousness, our energetic evolution, and how we are evolving as individuals as well as a collective. So I hope that in this show there is at least one message that resonates with you or supports you. I also hope that this validates anything you're feeling or moving through. I have been practicing and studying astrology for over 30 years now, since my early teens. I am in my 40s, and what I've learned through astrology is how it continues to be valid. It continues to describe and reveal to us more of the energies on the planet, and of course it's showing up in big ways right now. There's some big revelations unfolding, some big things collapsing, a lot of energies moving around, hustling, trying to protect themselves. A lot that is also coming up that has been pushed down or held back, and now it's coming forward. So this is what the astrology has been discussing, especially for the past few years, is that we're living in a time when the previous power structures are no longer in alignment with humanity's energy, meaning we're moving beyond various power structures and things that have been in place that we thought perhaps would serve an ongoing purpose. But now is a time when the energies of the individual are gaining strength and becoming more evolved. And that means we have a rise in the collective energy field, a rebellious energy, a revolutionary energy, all of this also connected to the age of Aquarius, where there is now more power in areas of our lives that maybe we felt disconnected from. And what we're also seeing here on the world stage is that the energies are not allowing things to stay hidden. There's nothing that can really be kept in the dark for too long, simply because of all the light downloads that are coming onto the planet, all the energies coming through that are supporting our planet's ongoing evolution and helping things come to the surface that need to be seen, that need to be known. And this is going to continue throughout the decade. And I do have a separate playlist for you on YouTube that consists of my channeled messages that has discussed some of these energies and things that are unfolding right now, the collapses, the energies that are disintegrating, what is falling apart, all in the name of truth, empowerment, integrity, and greater support for having clear energies on the planet. It's like there's been this understanding that this is a time of purity, and whatever is not truly authentic and genuine tends to be revealed or tends to come up to the surface in order for that energy to be seen, transmuted, and elevated to a new expression. So just understanding that we're living in a very dynamic era can help us get to the heart of why certain themes are coming up and why it's really important for us to continue on our evolutionary path, to keep evolving your spiritual self, to keep stepping into more of your power. In fact, that's what we need from each other right now. We need each other's authentic vibration. We need each other's truth and revelations. We need to also be fully in command of our ongoing healing and our ongoing consciousness so that we're truly working with these higher vibrating energies. And it's going to be a strong theme over this week as we will see the sun connect to the Galactic Center. So I will discuss that in the show, because this is a week of big truths, and we've already been in that energy, and it's going to continue forward. Now, on December 14th, we have the sun in Sagittarius squaring Neptune in Pisces at 22 degrees. And the sun has had an interesting journey this year in Sagittarius season, where it's really only been connecting with a few planets here and there. So the sun in Sag has been traveling by itself. It has been peregrine for most of the Sagittarius season. And as it makes these connections with other planets, there can be something that you feel in the depths of your being that is a truth. That's something you can't deny. It feels like perhaps something that you're really meant to think about, to sit with, to examine. And when the sun squares Neptune and Pisces, there can be confusion around a truth. There can be even an idealism. There can be a sense of what is real, what is really going on here. And yet what we're meant to do with this particular square is to go higher. And this is a very intuitive square. When the sun in Sagittarius squares Neptune and Pisces, it really amplifies our spiritual growth, what we're truly feeling and sensing that we can't always see or touch, but that we feel is energetically real. So tap into what that might be for you. Understand that this could also be a time when you maybe feel more sluggish or tired, when you feel your own physical body slowing down, needing a break, needing a nap. There's the energy here too of knowing that it's okay to detach from whatever has been too heavy or tense. It's okay to give yourself a break, to step away and just allow things to be, especially December 14th and December 15th. So know that that is a big energy here. And it could be also showing you more of what your intuition has been trying to speak to you about. There could be some downloads. There could be some things coming through that, again, maybe you don't know what's real, but you know the feeling is real. You know the energy is true for you. And that is something that Neptune often highlights, because Neptune takes us beyond the physical world and wants us to remember our energetic origins, wants us to tap into more of our natural frequency state and to give that energy. This is also an interesting square because the sun in Sag is masculine and Neptune in Pisces is feminine. And you could feel the conflict between those parts of yourself, meaning you could feel there's certain things your ego wants. You want to take care of, you want to get it done, you want to be in charge of. And then here comes Neptune in Pisces that asks you to release your expectations, to not put too much effort into something, to just trust the flows of it. So again, this can be a dance between our own masculine and feminine energies. On December 17th, Mercury in Capricorn trines Uranus retrograde in Taurus at 15 degrees. And this is the energy of surprise messages, new developments, new information. I didn't see that coming. There's energy here too that is showing you more of what you're committed to. And there could be some new things coming through that you're like, oh yes, I want that. That's a great idea. That's a great solution. This is where there can be breakthroughs that are designed to show you more options, more possibilities. This is also happening in the earth signs with Mercury in Capricorn and Uranus and Taurus, and the earth signs being about our physical world. There could be things coming through that you're understanding are a fit. This makes sense. This connects. I like this solution. So December 17th, you could have some breakthroughs in understanding. There could also be a new momentum that comes in as Uranus is very dynamic and wants things to be shifting and evolving. And so this could be a sense of new inspiration for something you need to get done. There could also be efficiency here where you're feeling very efficient and that some things just aren't taking as long to complete. So again, that is December 17th. It's happening at 15 degrees of Mercury in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus. Then on December 19th, we have a busier day with the Venus in Capricorn squaring Chiron in Aries, Mars in Gemini sextiling Chiron in Aries as well. And then we also have the Sun conjunct the Galactic Center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, both Venus and Mars make some connections to that Chiron retrograde in Aries. And this is where we've been doing our own personal healing work, understanding where we have unknowingly held ourselves back, where we are learning to step more into our strength, our confidence, and the courage to be ourselves. So Chiron retrograde in Aries shows us the weak spots, where things are tender or bruised, where you have a boo-boo and you don't know how to make it heal any faster. And so Venus in Capricorn squaring Chiron can show you more of what to stick with in yourself, because that Venus in Capricorn, she reinforces our dignity, our self-respect, and she's also aware of what needs to get done. So this could be something around a plan or something new to try that maybe you were pushing away or you didn't think it would work. We also have that Mars retrograde in Gemini sextiling Chiron. And I feel like this is revealing what we are working through based on our willingness to understand, to learn, to take in new information, to basically keep that beginner's mind and say, okay, I guess I didn't know exactly how to solve this, or I didn't have the full story or all the information. So this feels like a time when there could be a focus on your healing journey. And the Chiron energy is going to be strong into Capricorn season as Chiron is moving very slowly at this time and stations direct on December 23rd. So there could be a focus right now on what you have understood about your sense of self, where you are loving and accepting yourself more, you're honoring your gifts, you're honoring your talents, you're honoring more of who you really are that perhaps you were disconnected from. It's interesting because I also feel like this Chiron in Aries is actually opening us up to how energetically sensitive we are. How we are more aware of things in our surroundings, in our life, in our environment than perhaps we gave ourselves credit for. It could also be revealing how you have built up certain walls or defense mechanisms in order to not feel as many things in the environment around you, to kind of soften the sensitivities, even to develop unhealthy coping mechanisms for various sensitivities. And I feel like part of where the human energy is evolving is that we're understanding that we are more sensitive and energetically open the further we evolve, the more we go into our own healing journey, because we're dismantling and removing the various boundaries and barriers we've built up from previous levels of conditioning. So there's something here where we're tapping into more of our own sensitivities and then figuring out, well, what does this really look like on a daily basis? What is my process when I'm triggered or when I'm feeling a lot? How do I take care of myself? How do I take care of myself when the energy is really big and I'm feeling it and I'm really aware of what is happening within me? And that's part of what Chiron and Aries can connect us with, is how we are taking responsibility for our energy even more, what does affect us and what we do about it, without projecting onto others or making it somebody else's problem or issue. So there is a new level of personal responsibility with this Chiron in Aries, and perhaps you've been feeling that as well, where you've noticed some of your own habits and patterns and what you're ready to do differently. And that can be part of a turning point, especially as this Chiron will station direct on December 23rd at nearly 12 degrees of Aries. So the Chiron energy is big on December 19th, also the day that the sun is conjunct the Galactic Center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. This is an annual event. It happens once a year where the sun in Sagittarius connects to the energies of the Galactic Center that show us where our galaxy connects to other galaxies. It's a very expansive energy. It holds very different frequencies. It really evolves us, brings in more understandings and more ways of working with energy. So this could be a time when you feel an opening in your own perceptions. You're aware of what you didn't realize before. It's sort of like, oh, I didn't see it that way. I didn't understand it from that perspective. When the energies are working directly with the Galactic Center, they're designed to keep us growing, keep us open to the adventures of life, but to the adventures of the galaxy. And so I feel like this is often a powerful time of downloads, transmissions, clarity, and important truths. And that could be something that is a hallmark of this week, where you're feeling a very important truth, something within you, something that maybe you've been wrestling with or playing with, or it's kind of like pulling it and stretching it like Play-Doh. There's this energy now of a bright, shining truth coming down into our awareness, into our energy fields that is designed to support us, designed to show us even more than our human minds wouldn't necessarily connect with or see. So this is also an intuitive download, an energetic expansion. And when we have powerful connections with the Galactic Center, there's energies that take time to integrate. So December 19th is when the sun is conjunct the Galactic Center, but then it could take time for those downloads and transmissions to come through and for those energies to really be felt or seen. But I feel like what we move through is this very important portal. And it's a portal of consciousness. It's a portal of understanding and expansion. And part of the Sagittarius energy is to stay open to what you don't know, to what you haven't experienced, to what you weren't aware of. And we talk a lot about Sagittarius being the energy of opinions and what we believe and the various truths that reside within us or the various truths that exist around us. But part of the mastery of Sagittarius season is being able to sit in the discomfort of multiple truths coexisting. Being able to sit in the discomfort of opinions that are on very different trajectories, very different sides of an issue. Being able to sit in the discomfort, but not let it trigger you or move you into judgment, move you into superiority. And those are some of the lower octave expressions of Sagittarius, where there can be a sense of, I have all the answers, I know the truth, I have the right opinion. And it's very much connected to this expired and outgrown energy of looking for supremacy over others. And we've had these experiences across multiple lifetimes. And we commonly see them through various structures, patriarchal structures, different ways of a hierarchy being built, where there is someone at the top who knows the answers, who has a direct connection to God. And in order to get to God, you have to connect to this individual who is apparently supreme or who declares that they have more power or more connection than others. Again, this is something that has been within human consciousness for centuries. It's part of our programming. It's part of our conditioning. It's part of how a lot of religious practices and organizations are structured, is that there is a hierarchy of supremacy. And as we evolve forward, we start to think of that differently. We start to say, but what if that hierarchy collapses down? We're all even and we all just have different experiences, different opinions. How do we deal with that? And that's really the classroom that we're in right now. That's really the environment that we're in. especially with social media. And as we move into the age of Aquarius, where we're starting to come into connection with even more areas of diversity and differences and how individual we really are. So Sagittarius season highlights, how am I dealing with differences in opinions, differences in experiences? How am I dealing or showing up with this reality, and how is it affecting me? Because again, the mastery of Sagittarius season, especially as we're moving through the final 10 degrees of this sign, is that you feel good, clear, strong, and pure in your truth, but you're not looking for others to subscribe to it in order to validate you. You're not needing others to be on exactly the same page. Rather, we're able to allow each other to have our own experiences, to have our own belief systems, and to not go to war over them. I mean, how many religious wars have we moved through on this planet? And so it reveals to us the state of human consciousness, and we do have a long way to go in this area. But it's part of how we can remain in our power and our truth, is by understanding that your own experiences are valid, your belief system is valid, and as long as you're not needing everyone else to agree with you, then there are things that you can walk through the world with a renewed sense of power and strength. Sagittarius gifts us with opportunities to check in on this, to check in on our own personal evolution around this, and to look at how we handle it in an everyday way, where there could be very minor disagreements that come up, also huge disagreements, but how do you show up and how do you allow yourself to feel solid in what is true for you without applying that energetic layer to others? And that has been a big dance we've been in recent years. And that is also something that we're learning through. We're learning how to handle differences. We're learning how to listen, ask good questions, apply critical thinking, and allow people to have their own choices without it being something that hurts or affects us at an ego level. Because that Sagittarius energy will definitely puff itself up to be bigger and then require that everyone understands that this is the correct answer, this is the right way. So we're in a very interesting energy that is very alive at this time. And as the sun makes its annual conjunction to the Galactic Center, these can be downloads that assist humanity's evolution in working with Sagittarius themes. And I feel this as part of the gifts of this planet, that our planet is blessed with ongoing connections to the Galactic Center that allow us to keep growing, to see things in a new way, to see things in a higher way, and to allow that to be part of the human experience. And perhaps this is something to, of course, look at within yourself or see in how you show up in your life, in your world, where when you disagree with someone, how do you handle that? And when someone disagrees with you, how do they show up? Because, of course, there's many ways that people want to make their opinion known. It's simply like you sit down at dinner and someone has a 3-part song and dance around how they don't like Tabasco sauce, and they just go off on how it's the worst thing ever, and how could anyone eat this, and it sounds disgusting, and I would never. And it's this whole diatribe on what they don't like and what they don't want. And it's sort of like at some point that energy could evolve to where you just say, no, thank you, Tabasco sauce isn't for me. And that's it. And so this is where we're looking at, how do I energetically communicate who I am, what I believe, what I want, but how do I do it in a way with not only more self-awareness, but an understanding that It's not my job to convince anyone of anything. And the Sagittarius energy can be locked into selling an opinion, to marketing a thought, to really making it clear what's right and what's wrong. And this is always a good time of year to check in with ourselves on how we handle that, especially when there tends to be more social gatherings, more parties, more family events, more interactions in general, and we're then in contact with all kinds of experiences. Sagittarius values diversity in experiences. What has formed you? What has created you? What has shaped your ideology of the world? What has shaped how you believe in various parts of your life as well as in yourself? So these are the bigger topics that are a part of our everyday world and a significant part of humanity's growth and evolution on the planet at this time. Now, on December 20th, Jupiter re-enters Aries. And this is the third time that Jupiter has moved to that 0 degrees of Aries point. The first time was in May of this year. The second time was in October when Jupiter was retrograde. And now we have Jupiter re-entering Aries, the very first sign of the zodiac, new beginnings, new starts, ready to go, ready to initiate. But because this has been unfolding throughout most of this year, you could feel like something is really ready to get started. And that's actually one of the bigger energies of this week, because Jupiter re-enters Aries around the same time that the sun enters Capricorn on December 21st. And these are both energies of new beginnings. And in fact, on December 21st, the sun in Capricorn squares Jupiter in Aries. And this is a time to be very solid, strong, and clear in what you're starting, what that new chapter is. And there could be a sense here that something finally lands or connects. The energy of the sun in Capricorn brings in maturity. So you look at how Jupiter in Aries is the very first sign of the zodiac at the very beginning of a new 12-year cycle. And it's something that is very fresh and clear. You've been working through it this year. Perhaps you've even felt starts and stops. But Aries is very innocent at times. It's very naive. It's very much like, let's just do it and we'll see what happens. But Capricorn has world experience. Capricorn is mature. Capricorn has an understanding of how things really work, not how you want them to work, but how it really plays out. So this would be a threshold here, December 20th and 21st, where we're moving into a more mature understanding of what we want to begin. We have some new experiences throughout this year. We have a sense of how it really works, how things really show up. And we're going to apply that for our new starts. It also feels like there's a new sense of personal responsibility, taking responsibility for our own energy, for what we have either committed to and worked on, or where we haven't shown up. There could be a sense here of, okay, yeah, earlier this year, I was trying to half-ass it, or I really wasn't fully in it. But now I've learned from that. Now I'm understanding more of what I really want, what I really need. And now I'm going to have a new beginning from more of my own confidence and from more of my own understanding of what is really important. So this feels like a mature starting point with the solstice energy. It feels like, again, this year could have brought about some things that you were learning from, or it was a false start, or there was something that just didn't get off the ground. It didn't move forward. This could also be something that you've been wrestling with inside yourself, back and forth. Should I do the thing? Should I not do the thing? I don't know. But this is an energy of a push. And the push from Jupiter in Aries is about action, is about taking action, making it happen. Let's go. And it has this sense of, I'm just going to go for it. I also feel like this is energy that's meant to get us out of our head. We're not meant to be overthinking it or considering all the options, all the angles, or all the possibilities. There's something here where you could just feel, I'm just going to try. I'm just going to try. And that's a beautiful gift to give yourself, because even just attempting or trying, you don't know how it's going to play out or where it's going to go. But what you're doing is trusting what you're feeling, trusting what you're sensing, also trusting that if there's something that you're feeling called towards or called to try, this is where the universe is reinforcing the fact that there's a reason why. There's a reason why you're feeling that desire to maybe do something new, do it in a new way, do something you've never done before that could feel wild and crazy. This is a push here. And I feel like this is designed to show you how life is an adventure, how we're designed to keep moving forward and to keep trying new things. And yet we can be our own worst enemies. We can apply the brakes. We can shut it down before it even goes anywhere. And I feel like this is where the universe is saying it's time for a new chapter in your life. It's time for a new start. So what do you want? And allow that to drive you forward. But the square energy here between the sun and Capricorn and Jupiter and Aries is asking you to check in with the parts of yourself that maybe haven't been on board with the new start or have been reluctant or hesitant, going back and forth. I kind of feel like when we move through these energy cycles, we can sense that we might be in between two versions of ourselves, teeter-tottering between a previous level of consciousness and a new emerging level of consciousness. And so this would be the time to basically look at, what do I want right now? And how am I holding myself back from trusting that? And that's where you could tune into the parts of yourself that have been overactive, that maybe have shut down a part of your ability to trust, or have shut down your heart, or have not allowed you to really honor and live from all of your energy. So I feel like this is going to be a solstice here where we're getting new downloads on what is possible in our lives, and also a rising desire to go for it. I'm just going to see how this plays out. And as long as you can stay open to it and not be too expectant, because part of this too is that we can try something and we have an expectation of the outcome, or we have a set plan in how we want it to play out. But this is a push to just be open. And it could be a beautiful time to open your energy more, to open up to more of what is true for you, and to know that that right there is a beautiful gift. And perhaps that's the turning point from earlier this year. Meaning, if there were things that you were putting energy into or you were invested in, if there were things in your life that you really wanted to have develop or wanted it to grow or wanted something new that started and stopped, and then you're like, is this really going to happen? Is this really possible? I feel like this solstice energy is a new starting point where you've collected understanding and wisdom. You've even done more healing work, and you're aware of a new truth that is driving you. And it just feels like there's this push. It just feels like a push of energy, almost like to push you out the door or to push you forward. It's sort of like before you jump off one lily pad and want to go to the next lily pad. And you have to let go, right? You have to let go in order to make that full movement. And there's something here too where the energy feels bigger, and that's the Jupiter amplification. It feels like, oh, there's a bigger start here. There's a bigger energy. And because this is rare, this exact alignment with the sun moving into Capricorn at the same time that Jupiter moves into Aries, there's a sense here of a new chapter, a turning point, and also perhaps more within you that's wiser, clearer, stronger, more healed. And I'm just feeling this very strong go for it energy that you could also be sensing based on what you've experienced this year. So it's sort of like it's not a completely new starting point because it's already something that you've been working through or aware of, especially since May, which is when Jupiter first moved to 0 degrees of Aries. And the solstice is very interesting energetically because the word solstice is actually about how the sun, the soul, S-O-L, is at a standing point where it has reached the highest point or lowest point. It also shows us a turning point in the seasons of the calendar year. And so the solstice is when the sun appears to be at that standstill before it moves forward into the next season. And this is great to understand energetically, where if you were to just stand and tap into your own energy and really honor how far you've come, what your journey has been about, and really strengthen as well those parts of yourself that need to step into more of your authority, that really need to integrate and live from your mastery, that is a powerful way here to understand what is speaking to you right now. Because when we're standing still and we tap into our heartbeat and we listen to ourselves and we hear more of our internal messages, we no longer are distracted by the external world and the chaotic energies all around us. We're listening to the depths of our own being. And it's almost like you can feel it at a cellular level, the messages and the information that you're meant to know in this moment in time and in this part of your journey. So for all the ways there's big energies, we're also meant to just stop and check in with what is happening within us, to hear it, to honor it, and then to allow that energy to also guide us forward, to be something that reveals even more of the new start that we're ready for and where we're feeling that push of a new beginning. Capricorn season begins on the solstice. In fact, the sun enters Capricorn on December 21st at 4:48 p.m. That's Eastern time. And it ushers us into the third and final earth sign of the zodiac wheel, and also is about checking in with our reality. What am I responsible for and committed to? What is in front of me that really matters? And what no longer matters? What is no longer of interest or importance? Perhaps you're understanding what you have completed, what has come through, what you've taken care of, and then also understood where you're ready to make some shifts and changes going forward, especially into the new year. So we'll be talking more about Capricorn energies next Wednesday, as that is when Capricorn season officially begins. But I thought it would be advantageous to give you a heads up on this transition, as well as knowing that there's beautiful brilliance in the astrology wheel. There's this ongoing energetic conversation that rotates between very different energies. And there's always a rotation between masculine and feminine energies. There's an ongoing dance between the 4 elements, elements being fire, earth, air, and water. And there's also an ongoing dance between the modalities, what we call the cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs. And so as we move through Sagittarius season this week, we're moving through mutable fire energy that is masculine, and then we move into Capricorn, which is cardinal earth feminine. Okay, so the seasons of the zodiac always are shifting and changing and moving us into new parts of ourselves. Sagittarius season is quite expansive. It brings up growth, prosperity, abundance. What does abundance mean to you? How are you activating it in your life? Where are you feeling boundaries or limitations to abundance? And keep in mind that the definition of abundance changes and evolves throughout our lives, also throughout the ongoing human experience, where what we used to call abundance would look very different now. And in fact, it reminds me of how Dutch painters in the 17th century painted a lot of still life portraits. And those still lifes were demonstrating the luxuries and opulence within a home. And so we might look at it today and think, oh, it's just a vase of flowers, or oh, that's just a bowl of fruit. But back then in the 17th century, this would have been a demonstration of abundance, that you would have these items in your house, that they would be a part of your everyday world, that you had plenty. And in fact, you wanted to capture them and reference them for ongoing enjoyment and pleasure. And so this was one way that abundance was a strong energy back in the 17th century. So you can see how this would have been a strong statement of status and luxury, that you could even not only have collections of flowers in your home or even have these paintings, but it was a demonstration of what it meant to live a good life, and that you would have access to these types of pleasures that are very seemingly simple and everyday, but that was a demonstration of abundance. And so in our lives today, we would have different things that mean abundance to us. But if you look carefully, you can find abundance in everything. You can find prosperity in many things, as long as that is your focus, or that is your belief that there is abundance everywhere, that there is prosperity everywhere, and that you are also tapped into and live from that same energy, which of course then is connected to your belief system. So as we move through the final week of Sagittarius season, this is a beautiful time to check in with what you believe around the energy of abundance and manifestation, how you're connected to it and what that means for you, as well as observing yourself, observing where you feel that you're disconnected from abundance, or that it's not for you, or you don't deserve it, or whatever the case might be. This is where we get to make new choices, do the internal work, and reprogram these parts of ourselves so that we know we're designed for more. You're meant for more. You don't have to stay locked in to one limiting belief system. You don't have to stay blocked by something that maybe your parents didn't value, or you didn't grow up believing it would be possible for you in this lifetime to do certain things or achieve certain things. This is where we step into the bigger playground of energies, and Sagittarius season wants us to expand in this way. It's almost like Sagittarius season wants you to challenge what you've accepted as your own status quo. Sagittarius wants you to really go into that and understand, is this really true for me still? Do I really believe this? Is this really the energy that I want to create my life from? And this could be a powerful week of understanding for yourself what stays and what goes, as well as where you're ready to level up, where you're ready to take something to a new place within yourself, because you're more deeply connected to your innate worth, your innate value, and also the powerful co-creation abilities of the universe. And if you're open and willing for this type of expansion, remember December 19th through December 21st is a powerful time for this, as we're going to see the Sun conjunct the Galactic Center, plus the energy of Jupiter moving into Aries and the solstice. So this is a powerful time to really check in with who we are now, how we're living our lives, if you really feel like you're living your best life, and then just simply letting the universe know, I'm ready for more understandings. I'm ready for new downloads, new inspiration, more ways of moving through my world. I'm ready because I know that I will be beautifully supported as I step into these higher energy realms and these new possibilities. And as I mentioned, next Wednesday, we will keep discussing the sun in Capricorn and more of what's coming as we close out the month of December as well as 2022. Yes, it's true. We have moved through a very fast year. The energies on the planet have definitely accelerated, and we are certainly feeling that. In fact, we're feeling it at a cellular level. And you could even feel it in your body, in your nervous system, as the energies are pulsing or moving faster. You could feel it as anxiety. You could feel it as worry. You could feel it as more of those electrical circuits within us just moving at a higher frequency. And that's related to how we are always in a dynamic dance with the universe, with the earth, and with all the energies around us. And before I sign off for today's show, just want to let you know that the Sedona retreat is now open. This is the Awakening Astrology Retreat experience that is happening March 3rd, 4th, and 5th in beautiful Sedona, Arizona. Me and my co-creator Lori Rising are offering this program to you at the Sedona Creative Life Center. I will put the information below the podcast, as we do have everything ready to go for this amazing experience that takes you further into your own astrological energy signature. And we are doing this work with the openness to embodiment, meaning really opening and expanding the energies within us at a cellular level, tapping into more of your unique frequency and understanding of yourself, and doing some awesome quantum activations along the way. So we're so excited to be seeing you in Sedona and to expand what you thought you knew about astrology. This is where I teach you and share with you insights that I have observed and practiced for years, because I really hope it supports you in getting into more of what's possible for you, what you're about, what your energy is in this lifetime, and also, of course, opening up to more of the awesomeness of astrology. So we hope you can join us and make time in your life for this amazing experience, especially in the beautiful energies that reside in Sedona. I'll put a link below the podcast. As I said, you'll find out more about our 3-day schedule. We do have a discounted block of rooms at a hotel, and we will be serving catered lunch on site every day. We want you to be taken care of and well nourished and energized and ready for the quantum openings that we move through together. So again, it's March 3rd, 4th, and 5th in Sedona. You do have to register and pay on my website. All details are on the landing page there, but I'm really excited to meet so many of you there and to have this beautiful experience together. You can find out more about this event at mollymccord.online, as you will also find more about my other astrology offerings and courses, including the 2023 Soul Growth Astrology program that helps guide you through the main astrology of next year. And it's my intention to keep this reasonably priced to assist as many of you as possible. So you can get it for $33 until the end of the year when you use coupon code HELLO2023. And that information will be below the podcast as well. Wishing you a beautiful week ahead, an expansive week of growth and understanding. And I'll be back on Monday for another episode, as well as next Wednesday as we continue to discuss these weekly themes. Have a beautiful final week of Sagittarius season, and I'll see you back here soon.